Live from Happy Valley Studios, it's the MCS1 show. I am Barry Sines, and now your host, the guy who's never had an energy drink, MCS1.
All right, thank you. All right, my guest today is Caleb Hennon. Welcome, Caleb.
Thanks, Mark.
Pleasure
to be here.
Pleasure having you here. All right, so today for my topic, what I would like to address is the topic of why high school sucked. Now, I really hated high school, and I'm sure a lot of us did growing up. It's fairly normal to hate high school growing up.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, next week we're going to cover another topic of people who can't let go of high school, and that will be another fun one. But today's topic is why high school sucked. And I want to start off with some opening remarks. I went to a high school where my graduating class was 60 kids. The elementary school, the junior high, and the high school, or the middle school for the junior high elementary, because my school was kind of weird. It was all one gigantic, big building. We had, and we had 2 trailers outside, and one was used for a study hall growing up as well. Yeah! A study hall for one of them until the school got bigger, and then they used random classrooms that weren't being filled for the study hall. But for my opening remarks, I had a teacher, actually several teachers, in my small high school with my graduating class of 60 kids, that once said to me that high school will be the greatest years of your life.
What?
Yeah, and they really pushed that with us, and they're like, you will look back and you'll look at these as the greatest years of your life. What a line of crap! And I just couldn't believe it, and
that doesn't even make. If high school is the greatest time of your life, I'm sorry, but you're leading a very, very sad life.
Yeah, and
those 4 years, honestly. That's like saying, to a peasant in the 12th century, the greatest time of your life will be in prison for not paying taxes. That's awful. It's torture. I can't think of a day in high school where I was thinking to myself, this is a lot of fun. I'm really glad I'm here right now.
Yeah, I remember going to high school every day and just staring at the clock, waiting for it to be 3:15 or 3:14 or 2:30 when I was a senior, because I got to leave early for whatever reason, because my school was, they let us leave early if you're a senior and you had a permission slip signed. Took forever to get my parents to sign that. And I just remember staring at the clock about every day, and I'm like, I cannot wait for this crap to get over. I never woke up, stared out, moved my drapes, stared out the window right at the sun, and thought,
Wait, were there birds chirping?
There were birds chirping as well. Birds chirping, the sun beaming down on me, and I'm in my robe, and I'm like, today, when I go to high school, it's gonna be a great day.
Oh yeah.
I never thought that.
I don't remember that ever happening.
And
no.
The way I remember, I woke up every day, usually kind of late, drug myself to to take a bath, shower, get ready, and then wait for my friend to pick me up, take the bus, whatever, and then go to high school. And the only part of high school I did kind of enjoy was at the beginning of the day, when all of us talked about how we didn't want to go to class and stuff, and my friends were just sitting around chilling. And at the end of the day, when we got out and we were finally free, never in that in-between area was it any good.
Yeah. I mean, granted, the one thing that was kind of okay, I will say lunch was alright. As long as you didn't eat the cafeteria food.
Yeah.
Because that was like asking for worms.
Yeah. My whole time in high school, I brought my own lunch.
Right.
Either I had
As
it,
did I.
or my mom was nice enough to pack one for me.
Right.
And I really liked it, because a lot of that food, it didn't look very nutritious.
No.
A lot of it. And the way that they do things kind of scared me. One day, they'll have spaghetti, and the next day, they'll have lasagna, which, making use of that pasta sauce.
Right.
And then they'll have like rotini with meat sauce, which is the same thing as spaghetti with meat sauce.
Right.
And they just dress it with a fancy name, and they just...
Rotini?
Rotini.
What does that even mean?
Rotini.
Like,
I think it's an Italian word.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard of rotini.
I think it's the type of noodles they use.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like
okay.
the
That just sounds sketchy.
the spiral noodles.
Oh, okay.
I think is what it is.
All right.
So another thing I kind of want to discuss with why high school sucked. Like I went to a small high school. Obviously, my graduating class was 60 kids, and we were one of the bigger classes.
Wow.
That graduated.
I went to a slightly bigger one. Our graduating class was about 300.
Okay.
But probably relatively similar experience in at least in most regards.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still high school.
I mean, I know that my high school experiences were vastly different than other people's.
Right.
But like a lot of mine, like the teachers were also coaches,
which is stupid.
Yeah, and did you have that in your giant
all the
school?
time. All the time.
See, I was wondering if it was just my school because it was small, and they were, I don't want to say understaffed, but they had someone fill two hats, so to speak.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, and this is where most of it actually happened, is that you normally have coaches teaching either history or the obvious PE.
See, our PE coach was an adjunct who was either a substitute teacher that taught up in a neighboring school, and he was actually cool. He wasn't a jerk at all, and he was actually fairly normal.
All right, okay.
Which I was, I guess I find that kind of surprising.
That is very surprising. I've never that would not be my experience at all.
Yeah, I didn't have too many cool teachers, but the PE teacher was one of them. Okay. And he just wasn't a jerk. He didn't yell. He was just normal.
Okay. Wow.
I know. Lucky me.
That is very abnormal.
Thank you, Mr. Barry. If you are listening, you were wonderful. So, what I would like the teachers that were coaches or whatever. Another thing was also with my high school, they were also, a lot of them were brothers. The three wrestling coaches were all brothers, and they were all the science teachers.
What? I'm sorry, does wrestling have a lot to do with science?
I don't think so. I don't really see WWE and and the Discovery Channel getting together. I really don't.
Yeah, Dwayne Johnson popping up on the Discovery Channel one day. So kids, study hard.
Study hard.
Science is important.
Read books, and remember, God isn't there.
Yeah, it's like...
It was only an explosion that created the Earth.
Yeah, I mean, where does that even fit in? Like, wrestling? Yeah, I don't get it.
I know, it just didn't make sense to me either. And also another thing that you're just gonna love, the two English teachers that were there, they were both the football coaches.
Can they even speak English, like, properly? I don't know.
One of them was really cool.
Okay.
One of them, and I actually had a lot of respect for him. Okay, that's cool. He ended up...
Did he have a degree?
He did have a degree.
Okay, all right, that is...
He did have a degree. Good. I did have some cool teachers in high school, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But
you're talking about coaches, right?
Yeah, just coaches. And the other one, he actually, when I was really little in elementary school, he came and, he was... Iowa State. He was a quarterback for Iowa State.
Okay.
And he came to our high school, and they had my elementary school, and they had this magazine, and he came and he gave out copies of the magazine with him on the front cover, and he autographed it. And I still had one at home. And when I got into high school, because of my really good memory, I remember that it was him.
Okay.
And I always kind of just wanted to, give it back to him and be like, "Here, Mr. Straight, remember this?"
Yeah.
And he was also a track coach too. Okay. As well, but all the teachers, they were also coaches on the side,
and that's, to me, it just seems like it's too much for somebody to really be doing, because it's like, okay, if you think about it, you've got a coach every day. What's he doing in the afternoon?
Yeah,
he's running a practice.
Mm-hmm.
When is he going to grade your papers? When is he going to have the legitimate time to give you real feedback on your homework?
Exactly,
especially an English teacher.
Oh yeah,
where a lot of it's writing, a lot of it's With English, the thing is, it's not like math where you can just have an answer sheet and you're just like, wrong, right, wrong, right. And it's not, you don't have something out there outlining it for you. It's English. It's opinion-based a lot of times. It's grammar-based. Those aren't things you can just look at them and just be like, oh yeah, this is an A- paper. You can't do that. That, to me, that seems like they're kind of maybe stretching him a little bit much, you know? And I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe a little too much work. Probably didn't do as good of a job as the guy that was just a teacher.
Yeah.
You know?
And the thing about the teachers
Mm-hmm.
that like really annoyed me is like that they played favorites with athletes.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
another thing I hate about high school was they had really dumb restrictive rules that made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
My high school, we weren't allowed to actually carry backpacks to our rooms, like the classrooms.
That is lame.
We had to leave them in our lockers, and we had about a 3-minute bell between classes
Yeah,
to get to the next one. So we had to go drop off all of our crap, grab books for the next class, you know, try to ask a chick out if that's what our motive is.
Right,
or
right.
Try talking to a friend or just something really quick.
Main thing, yeah.
Yeah, and then we got to run to class. And it's like we have 3 minutes to do all this. And what if you got to go to the bathroom? My high school, they had some crazy strict bathroom policies. Here's a really interesting story. Okay, so when I was in high school, they took us we had an assembly one day. The principal gets up front of the whole classroom, the auditorium, with her mullet, and and her khaki shorts, and her panther tattoo. And she gets up there, and she's like, okay, here's what's been going down. There's been someone taking poop in the bathroom and spreading it all over the walls.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
That is disgusting.
Someone was just doing it, and we couldn't figure out who, but then there was these two kids. They always wore these shirts with these monkeys on them. One of them said, "Who fling poo?" And the other one says, "I fling poo." And, you know, they would wear them, like, the same day. So it might have been some with those kids.
Yeah, that's evidence would suggest, at least a little suspicious.
Just a little. So, because of this, we weren't allowed to use the bathrooms. First, it was, like, at all, which I'm pretty sure is illegal.
Why would you even have them?
Yeah, and so then, in addition to that, well, after a while, they started being more relaxed, but, like, if we had to let anyone go to the bathroom, it had to be within the passing period, that 3 minute of time. And it's like, well, you know, what if you gotta go number 2?
Yeah, then what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and it's like, you show up late to class, it's like, well, Mark, where were you, good sir? Why are you, you know, a minute and a half late to class while I'm taking attendance? Well, good sir, I had to go to the bathroom. Oh, well. So, and they
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and so, and then, like, shortly after that, then they started, they would let you go, but they had to buzz you into the intercom to the office.
So the principal himself or herself.
Well, they didn't go to the principal. It went to, like, the up front office, like, the secretary desk.
Oh, okay.
And so I think they were, like, writing down names of people who would go. And, yeah. And so...
So then they gotta have a list of, like, culprits?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, what I think was going on, like, this would be, like, to go to the bathroom or to get aspirin. So I kind of figured this out after a while. And so it's like, hey, Mr. Schulte, can I go get some aspirin? And he's like, yeah, sure. So he has to go, and he has to buzz us to the office. We go through the hallway, go get some aspirin or whatever, go to the bathroom, come back. And then, like, everyone started just asking for aspirin all the time.
Right.
You know, just because it interrupted class, it was disrupting the teaching. And that's when it's like they've taken this idea of control and to stop us because, you know, one kid ruined it for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And
I fling poo kids. So.
Yeah, the I fling poo. And so now they're trying to maintain this whole control with the with everyone. Yeah. And it just doesn't work. It was just so stupid.
No, that I can't imagine that working at all anyway. Like you can't control, first of all, somebody's bodily functions.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be like, if somebody raises their hand and says, I need to go to the bathroom, you're basically telling them, no, you don't.
Just kidding.
You really don't need to.
You're okay.
Yeah, you'll be alright, buddy. You can just hold it.
Yeah.
That's very unhealthy.
Yeah, the teacher's probably thinking, oh, well, if you wore a diaper like me. You know, some of those older teachers I had. Another thing with high school and the control factor... Kind of. It's everyone takes everything out of proportion. Mm-hmm. So I have a great high school story. So when I was in high school, there was this kid that everyone hated.
Okay.
And stuff, and he had kind of a giant melon head.
All right.
And everyone just hated him. He's just like this annoying jock, stereotypical.
Right.
He's just rude to everybody. And so one day this kid got on, back in the day, got on Yahoo Messenger online, starts IMing him, and like under this fake name and stuff, and he's just like making, not even like real threats, just joking with them. And he goes, just be on the lookout tomorrow for a kid with a backpack. A kid with a backpack. Like, kids don't have backpacks at school.
Right.
So, the kid prints this off, the jock. And the jock goes to school the next day, takes it to the office. And so everyone's freaking out because there's now a bomb threat.
A bomb? Really?
A bomb
he said
threat.
It was a bomb.
A bomb threat with this kid with a backpack. And so...
oh my gosh.
So everyone's racing around the school, and everyone's like freaking out about this, and I'm like, wow, this is... Like, to me, I'm like, this is cool. Because I don't have to learn, I don't have to put up with annoying teachers. I mean, I'm having a great day.
Right.
Chaos. It's just so much fun. And so there was actually one girl, she was actually studying for a test in one of my classes. And I'm like, really? And her boyfriend's like, oh, this is so cute. She's studying during a bomb threat. And he was totally joking. He thought it was funny. But it's like, but seriously, who does that?
No, I don't. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and so,
I hope she passed the test.
Well, she didn't take it that day.
Okay.
Because we got out of school early, and then they tell us, all the kids are like, now when you go directly home. Don't cruise around town. Don't go anywhere else. Don't hang out around the school. Just go home. And they had these bomb-sniffing dogs, going through all the lockers and stuff, and all this other junk. Well, then... we leave school, right? And so naturally, we go home and we stay inside. We went like...
Why would you do
that? Exactly. My friends and I, we went cruising around town.
Right.
And stuff. Because it's like, we're out of school. They can't control us. It's like, you go to like a concert, and you're rocking out, and all of a sudden your math teacher walks up, and he's like, none of that, kid.
Yeah, how dare you have fun?
Yeah. In my presence. Or out of my presence.
Yeah,
so,
what is this?
So I go home, and I get a call about a couple hours later, and it's my friend, and he says, hey man, I'm not going to be at a youth group tonight. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so he goes, so I won't be able to return your game I'm borrowing. I'm like, okay, whatever. He goes, so that thing that you happened at school today? I go, yeah, I did, the bomb threat. Yeah, it's pretty cool. He goes, yeah, that was me. I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah. And that one phone call you get? Yeah, I'm calling you to let you know I'm not going to be at youth group tonight to return your game. And he turned himself in. And he turned himself in like to let his grandparents know, so at least they knew. And so he ended up. He could have went back, but it would have been on his permanent record. But he ended up getting expelled, so it wouldn't be on his permanent record.
Right.
And he just went to another school. And his parents, they grounded him for like a long time,
of course,
obviously.
Of course.
But it's that type of thing. Like it was just online. He's just like, watch out for a kid with a backpack. The most vague thing ever.
Yeah.
And then the dumb jock takes it and turns it into a bomb threat. And so it's like, really, just really.
How is that a bomb threat? And a kid with a backpack, like. And first of all, was the kid even... He wasn't threatening the school.
No.
Basically just the jock,
Just
right?
the dumb jock. And the thing is, it's like, when they went in and they're like, okay, dumb jock, who hates you?
Well,
half the school!
Let me just say this. People know me as the dumb jock.
The dumb jock.
Probably everyone.
Everybody hated me.
Except for my buddies on the football team, my bros.
My bros, bro. And he's sitting there wearing his polo and his turtleneck sweater and khaki shorts.
He has to be wearing his Letterman.
Oh yeah, the Letterman,
of course. He's got his jacket on.
The Letterman.
Probably still wears it today.
Oh, probably. That'll be next week. Kids who can't let go of high school.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, high school was just awful. Like things like that, always happened. And the thing is, it's like my high school, since it was in a small rural area, we gotta they were so ignorant about things,
right?
That it was just uncanny. Like they're like, man, we hate black people. and stuff, because I went to an all-white school pretty
Right,
much,
right,
except for
right.
like this one Hispanic girl that moved in senior year. And so,
And I'm sure she fit in great.
and she really did, actually. She kind of did. So, and everyone was like, "Oh man, she's so hot." But before that, they were all cracking Mexican jokes too. So they so I was on this bus sophomore year in high school, coming back from a field trip, and my class was so small. We had like a girls' bus and a guys' bus. You know, this is 10th grade. All of a sudden, the guys' bus, out of nowhere, except for 5 people, including myself, starts chanting "White Power."
Wow, that is... wow.
Yeah.
Really?
And I was like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, what is going on? And it just like came out of nowhere, and they just all started chanting. And this went on for a good, 15, 20 seconds before the guidance counselor
Finally stopped.
finally did something. And the guidance counselor was kind of driving the bus. It was probably just distracting him.
Yeah.
And so
Probably wasn't because it annoyed him. He was probably like, yes.
he's probably like
Yes.
he was probably fist pumping for a
Yeah,
little bit.
It's like, white power.
Yeah, and then he realized
wow.
he needed his hand on like
Yeah, on the wheel for the
Yeah.
too, yeah.
and so,
He's probably tapping his foot too.
Yeah, he's probably
kind
tapping
of
his-
accelerating a little bit.
the bus keeps going back and forth while they're fist pumping in the exact motion. And he's just
The bus itself looks like a giant fist pumping on the highway.
bumping on the highway of L34 through Iowa. Oh gosh.
Oh man.
Oh man, that's crazy. But yeah, I thought that was just so stupid.
Oh wow, that's interesting. But,
And
and honestly though, I mean, especially for the students, other students had a much bigger effect on ruining it for a person, for an individual,
Oh, yeah.
than the teachers. At least for me personally.
oh yeah.
Especially, I mean, going to, I went to high schools around here in Happy Valley, and and there's always that just either that group of kids or that one kid that you just hate, and they go
Yeah.
out of their way to make your life suck.
I had a group of those kids too, and they were always like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
And they were like the rich kids. But
Oh,
the
yeah.
rich kids of Logan, Iowa, it's like,
They
It's-
own a car.
yeah.
Probably.
Their parents bought them a car. But rich kid of Logan, Iowa, that's like being, a homeless person in LA equivalent.
Yeah, it's...
It just doesn't mean anything.
No.
And another thing, I gotta bring this up. This is
Okay,
great. So
okay.
my high school, we weren't allowed to say gay or fag or anything like that.
Okay.
No homosexual
References. or- yeah.
So what the kids did is they're like, oh, well, we'll start saying something else. So they start saying fog instead. They're like, fog. And so,
That's gay.
oh, yeah, it gets worse. So they would do it in class, like in the middle of class, they'd be like, fog, 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 fog. And then it turned into fwag, like F-W-A-G. And they'd be like, fwag. And they would start
Fwag.
doing that. Yeah. And it was the annoying kids that everyone hated that did it. But then because it was popular and they were popular, everyone started doing it. And I'm sitting around because I'm like, this is just dumb.
Yeah.
And so, and then it evolved into, from fwag, it went into hwag. Like H.
How did an H get in on that?
An H got in there somewhere.
Okay.
And then, yig. And then yeegster.
Yeegster?
Yeah, and then I graduated at this point, and I don't know how much this has evolved at this point, but I'm really hoping. I don't think it's died down. I don't think it's died down though.
It's probably just changed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just keeps evolving, and it's just this ever rolling boulder of stupidity, and it keeps or snowball of stupidity. It just
Right,
keeps building
right.
up. And eventually it's gonna hit, and there's gonna be some kind of shooting or something at my school. I don't know.
Some kid's gonna get called a Yigster and be like, no!
I'm not a youngster, and he just gets mad, goes home, plays some video games, and
Yeah.
comes back and
Right. Because we all know video games are what cause violence.
exactly.
It's not the other kids.
Of course. But we are out of time. I just want to have some closing remarks real quick about high school. Like, I don't really see how this could be the best years of your life unless you're not going to do anything further than that. And I think that's why it was the best years of their life for some of these teachers that claim this.
Yes.
Because after high school, they probably didn't have good experiences in college or whatever. I mean, maybe the frat didn't let them in or something. I don't know. And they couldn't chug enough, or they were afraid that cinder block wasn't. They were afraid that cinder block was actually going to be dropped off 2 stories when they were blindfolded, and they just didn't.
They just chickened out.
They just chickened out, and so I think. The reason people think high school is so great is because they had nothing to look forward to, but high school was some of the worst years of my life, and I'm really glad that's behind me, because now that I'm a college student at the moment, I'm really enjoying college. It's a lot more fun than high school. People are a lot more open-minded. I really don't have to deal with half this awful stuff that I talked about.
Nobody says Yigster.
Yeah, no one call me Yigster out here, but yeah. But those are my closing remarks. That's our show. For the evening, I want to thank my guest Caleb for coming on, and until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.